I mean, in this event, my initial draw to it was, and the reason I wanted to participate in the original research trip was because of the tsunami affecting the area and my interest in kind of water-related events and catastrophic events. And in this particular instance, it was the collision of forces that happens with this like triplicate event of a massive tsunami, a massive earthquake, and then a subsequent tsunami, and then on top of that, then something man-made of a nuclear meltdown. So I kind of, the research trip I participated in was very much geared towards the nuclear part of it, and I started to wonder quite a bit, because my initial interest was the tsunami, kind of how we talk about these events, and so that they don't become kind of disarticulated from what they really are. You can no longer distinguish the difference between a man-made disaster and a natural disaster, that these are functions kind of language, that we assign these things. Like they cannot be pulled apart and addressed separately. This is one of the things I find quite distressing about the Fukushima event. It's the Tohoku earthquake, that starts this thing, and the naming of it, and the proper naming of it, and the proper addressing of it. But the interest remains on the power plant. I mean, one of the great things about being an artist is that you are not bound by the same rules that a scientist is. I don't have to answer to that. I think artists are great for that because of the fact that they can trespass into all territories. They can research anything. They won't have the same proficiency, but they can draw upon and are not bound by the same rules, and are therefore a big, I think a big advantage to have involved in those dialogues, especially big topics like climate change. The primary thing that I keep thinking about in relation to it is the scales, the shifts in scale of time of events like this, and how the work will talk about that. You have an earthquake that occurred for 6 minutes. You had about 20 minutes to get away from the tsunami, and then you have this unbelievably long time of what the radiation in the area, or how long that will take before it's no longer a threat to life. In the planetarium there were time cards for people from work that day, and it's like there's something about the human presence of that, and not knowing if people lost their lives in the event, and never really being able to possibly figure that out. And in that way too, it's like the ocean is terrifying, and like never experienced that before too, like having the ocean actually be really frightening and hearing it behind you, because you have evidence in the building of what's been done to it. You can see watermarks in the ceiling and stuff, and you see the force that it really is. I mean, one of the upsetting things is actually seeing the reconstruction of what looks like homes on coastal plains, where you can literally see the horizon line matched with the water. After an event like this, it feels like there's this push for recovery, and there needs to be maybe a bit more of a pause and think about what that means.